the showroom of Velocity Motors, a gleaming cathedral of chrome and glass, usually hummed with the eager chatter sales. But today, it vibrated with a different kind of tension. The air was thick with the scent of new leather, tire rubber, and the metallic tang of unspoken hostility. It was 10:15 a.m., and the morning rush was in full swing. At the center of the showroom, next to a pristine electric concept car, stood Nia. She was incognito, dressed in a deliberately unremarkable royal blue corporate uniform. A simple pantsuit, slightly ill-fitting, with a name tag that read Nia, trainee. Her posture was a study in quiet observation. Blocking her path was Sterling, the dealership's top-performing and most arrogant sales manager. He wore a bold red power tie that practically screamed commission, paired with a tailored gray suit. He was holding a clipboard, tapping it impatiently against his thigh. "Excuse me, trainee," Sterling sneered, without even making eye contact. He was looking over her shoulder, past her, at the next potential customer walking in. "Did you forget your job? The break room is for staff. The showroom floor is for salespeople. Don't stand in the way of a real closer. Go fetch me another latte and make sure it's extra hot. Maybe try to look busy, so you don't scare off the clientele with your deer-in-headlight stare." The justice debt had been compounding since Nia's disguised arrival an hour earlier. She had pulled into the employee lot in a beat-up old blue Honda Civic she had borrowed, parking it in the furthest, most neglected corner. As she walked in, Vance, the head of operations, had been holding court by the time clock, his red polo shirt stretched tight over his paunch. "Look at this one," Vance had scoffed, loudly enough for the entire staff room to hear, as Nia tried to clock in. Another corporate-mandated trainee, probably here to learn how to sell. She couldn't sell a life raft to a drowning man. Get to sweeping, trainee. The floors aren't going to clean themselves. Throughout the morning, the condescension continued. Leland, the finance manager, had made a point of bumping into Nia by the water cooler, spilling his coffee on her royal blue uniform. "Oh, careful, trainee," Leland had laughed, wiping his hands on his red-striped trousers. "This isn't your daddy's garage. You'll learn to move faster once you realize your job depends on it. Don't worry, the stain will probably blend in with the rest of your drab outfit." Now, with Sterling's demand for a latte echoing in the showroom, Nia simply looked at the digital clock on the wall above the customer service desk. 10:45 a.m. The justice debt was at its peak. The arrogance of staff, fueled by years of unchecked power, had reached a point of no return. "A latte, Sterling?" Nia asked, her voice calm and level. "Is that what you believe this company's priorities are?" Sterling finally turned to her, his face a mask of patronizing irritation. "My priorities are whatever makes me hit my quota, trainee. And frankly, you're an obstruction. Velocity Motors is a machine, and if a part doesn't pull its weight, it gets replaced. Now, the latte, or are you too incompetent even for that?" Sterling didn't wait for an answer. He turned his back on Nia, assuming she was heading toward the coffee machine in her stained royal blue uniform. Instead, Nia walked directly to the manager's command console in the center of the showroom, a terminal restricted to executive access. "Get away from there," Vance barked, his red polo visible as he rushed from the service bay. "That console is worth more than your annual salary, trainee. One wrong touch, and I'll have you arrested for corporate sabotage." Nia didn't flinch. She placed her thumb on the biometric scanner. The screen, which usually displayed sales quotas in red, flickered and turned a solid, authoritative royal blue. A mechanical chime echoed through the entire dealership. "Access granted. CEO Nia Velocity," the system's voice announced, amplified to the showroom speakers. The silence that followed was absolute. Sterling froze mid-step. Vance's face turned a shade of purple that clashed horribly with his red shirt. Leland, who had been smirking from the finance office, dropped his pen. Nia reached into her pocket and pulled out a small navy blue folder, the true performance audit she had been compiling all morning. She didn't look like a trainee anymore. She looked like the woman who owned the ground they stood on. "I didn't come here to learn how to sell, Sterling," Nia said, her voice echoing off the glass walls. I came to see why our customer satisfaction ratings were plummeting while our top managers were driving gold-wrapped SUVs. I found the answer. It's not the cars. It's the rot in the leadership. Nia tapped the console screen. Vance, you were caught on the service bay cameras 5 minutes ago telling a grandmother she needed a $4,000 engine overhaul for a loose gas cap. Leland, I've reviewed your finance logs. You've been skimming 2% off every subprime loan to fund your weekend trips. She turned her gaze to Sterling, who was sweating profusely, his bold red power tie looking like a noose. And you, Sterling, you think the showroom floor is your kingdom. You treat the staff like servants and the customers like marks. You ask for a latte? Here's a better idea. Nia swiped a command on the master screen. I am triggering the executive reset. As of this moment, every employment contract in this building is terminated for cause. A fleet of Deep Navy Ford F-150 Lightnings, the company's security and logistics vehicles, pulled onto the front curb, their blue lights flashing against the showroom glass. A team of external auditors in navy blue suits marched in, carrying final paycheck envelopes and cardboard boxes. You can't do this. Sterling stammered, his arrogance collapsing into desperation. The sales will tank. You need us. I don't need a team that bullies trainees and robs the public, Nia said, stepping out from behind the console. She looked at the junior sales staff, the ones who hadn't joined in on the mockery, everyone in a red tie or a red shirt. Clear your desks. You have 3 minutes to exit through the service entrance. Your personal effects will be mailed to you after a full forensic audit of your accounts. The humiliation was public and swift. The top closers were forced to walk past a group of waiting customers, carrying their belongings in boxes as the auditors revoked their digital access keys. Sterling tried to argue, but the security team, led by a woman in a royal blue tactical vest, escorted him toward the back door. Nia stood in the center of the empty showroom. She took off the trainee name tag and dropped it onto the floor where the spilled coffee had dried. Called the regional office. Nia instructed the lead auditor, tell them Velocity Motors is under new management, and tell them the new dress code starts today. No more red. We're going back to blue. She walked out to her old blue Civic, leaving the dealership behind. By lunch, the staff purge was a lead story in the industry journals. Nia hadn't just cleaned the floors. She had saved the soul of her company.